All right. Thanks to those joining me live and to those that will be joining me on archive. So, yesterday, Saturday afternoon on Showtime, I watched Anthony Joshua defend his world title against Wladimir Klitschko. I enjoyed this fight. Let's talk about this fight. Now, I also understand that the fight was live on HBO. Right? I understand that HBO decided to also get the fight, but they didn't get to play it live. Instead, HBO decided to go prime time with it. I have no idea which one was watched most, but I do know that there's no way I'm gonna watch it on HBO when I already have it recorded on Showtime. Shit's insane. But with that said, I mean, it just tells you a lot about HBO. In the age of the internet, in the age of DVR, you purchase a fight for a prime time audience, um, when your rival network purchased it already live. I mean, it just tells you a lot about HBO and the state that they are in right now. Right? It really does. So first of all, let's talk about what my thoughts were before the fight. Right? I was like a lot of people. I was not sure what was going to happen in this fight. But I will say the following. I felt like the longer the fight went, the more it favored Klitschko. I was wrong about that, obviously. Right? So that's how I felt about the fight. It's but what are you gonna do? Right? I didn't do a prediction video, but so I don't want to go too deep into what I was thinking, but those were my thoughts. Right? Now, round one, it's just as we're looking at it, I think we can divide the fight really in four parts, right? The beginning where there were kind of where it was a chess match, you know, um, and then the dramatics of round 5 and 6, right? That'll be the second part of the fight, okay, and then where it looked like Klitschko was starting to take over, you know, um, and Joshua was trying to get his second win. That would be the third portion of the fight. And then you had the grand finale, rounds 10 and 11, where Joshua, put it all together, and then he finished it in the 11th round. You know, so that's basically how you could divide this fight in those four blocks. The first block, I I think most people expected that. Most people expected um, for this to be tactical from the onset because Joshua is a monster puncher, and Klitschko, he ain't a powder puff puncher either. He could hit too, right? So it was interesting seeing the chess match right in front of our eyes. But round one was a very slow round, okay, but it was understandable that we're feeling each other out. But for being a tactical fight, it was an okay round. The round was not that bad, right? Round two kind of picked up. So round 2, 3, and 4, I felt like in the first 30 seconds, Klitschko would, for time there, it seemed like he would hit Joshua with something big, and then Joshua would kind of settle in and take over those rounds. That's what it kind of looked like to me. There were a lot of punches, however, that the crowd was going crazy for, where Joshua was not, he was just missing some of his big shots. He was trying to find that timing, but Klitschko wasn't really countering those shots. So it only allowed Joshua to, get his timing right by the fifth round. That's basically what happened there. The first block, it was tactical. There was a lot of thinking going on. Klitschko was not able to really utilize his holding. Now a lot of people are saying, "Oh, look, the ref didn't let him," or Klitschko decided not to hold. Or I just don't think the dynamics of the fight did not call for holding. Really, I mean, there was nothing really that happened that screen because number one, Klitschko usually lands like a jab in the right hand and then holds. Right, he wasn't landing that much in this first part of the fight, so there was no reason to hold. you know. Also, if you look at Klitschko's fights against guys his height or bigger, he rarely holds. I mean, it's very rare that he holds. Also, if you look at fights of Klitschko, other than Tyson Fury, by the way, but where guys are close to his height or taller, Klitschko, just he looks better. He fights better or looks aesthetically pleasing, more aesthetically pleasing to watch, I should say, than when he fights shorter men. Because when he fights the shorter dudes, he utilizes his reach. He pounds them with a jab. He lands a right hand here and there, and then anytime they try to get to the inside to do some work, he just holds them, and then the refs separate them. Then that's the story of the fight. And it works for him. I'm not going to take that. It worked against Povetkin. Povetkin was likely juiced up in that fight, but he didn't have a problem handling Povetkin. But when it comes to fighting guys his height or taller, Klitschko always looks good. So I was, other than the Tyson Fury fight, but the reality is I wasn't shocked to see Klitschko, look aesthetically pleasing in this fight. Now, I was figuring, though, around round 4, I wondered to myself, okay, none of these guys have really been really hurt yet. It's real tactical, but Josh was just getting the upper hand here. That's how I felt. I felt like Klitschko had to do something to start winning some rounds because I honestly felt like that was going to be the rest of the fight. I felt like if this is the rest of the fight, it's going to be an okay, dull fight that's going to be very forgettable, but it'll be a big win for Joshua, and we'll move from there, right? That's kind of how I felt. But then round 5 happened. In round 5, all right, as you all know, obviously, right, Joshua put it on Klitschko. I mean, he dropped Klitschko, and this is where the experience factor came in. Joshua's used to, hammering dudes and they go down. He's used to really, once he knocks guys down, he's used to admiring his work. And he's just used to guys just being done after that, right? He's used to landing his best shots, dropping to do it, and it's over. He's just used to that. He's not used to someone getting back up and continuing from there. Which brings me to this, okay? Yeah, I know he lost. And eventually in the 11th, and we'll get to that point, but in round 5, honest to God, Klitschko did something that not even me, who I'm a big fan of the Klitschkos, more so Vitaly, but still, I still like Wladimir. Wladimir did something that I didn't think he had in him. Right, I just did it. I know that there's a St. Peter fight, but those knockdowns were a little different, right? But every time someone put the heat on him and had him hurt like that, every single time, this was years ago, before Emmanuel Stewart, obviously, right? But it seemed like Klitschko was done, right? And I think now he's a more mature fighter, and he's obviously has a lot more confidence now because he was able to overcome that. All right, so Klitschko did something that many felt he didn't have in him. Right? Everybody always said the same thing. Oh yeah, I mean, once you clip that guy in the chin, he goes down. It's over, right? It's just hard to do it now after the training with Emmanuel Stewart. So that was partially true, but I think we saw, him to show that grit and to get back up, and not only get back up, finish that round, landing some big shots of his own and backing up Joshua was astonishing to see. Okay. And seeing Joshua think the fight was over, and then he was not able to close the show, and to have Klitschko come back and hit him with some big shots towards the end of that fight. There was like a good hook that Klitschko landed there. Towards the end of that round 5 or close to it. something just told me, honest to God, I thought Joshua was done. Right? He just looked tired. He was breathing from his mouth. His mouth was just wide open. He could barely keep his hands up. I mean, he looked finished. I'm like, damn, Klitschko just weathered the storm. And then round 6 started. And the way that round 5 ended is how round 6 started. And even before that, Klitschko was clipping him early, so he jumped on him early, and he caught him with a big right hand. I mean, this right hand really hurt Joshua. Okay. And not only that, he was also exhausted. Joshua goes down. He's lucky, or I shouldn't say lucky because it wasn't really luck, but he was real smart to not try and stand up really quick. A lot of young fighters do that. They get knocked down, they want to get up quick because they're embarrassed that they got knocked down. If you look at it, Joshua took advantage of the full count, right? He didn't get up at 2 and then want to fight again. He tried to get his faculties together. He tried to take a couple more deep breaths. He also, was it that round or the next round, he spit out the mouthpiece to save himself some time. A lot of people don't like that, but that's kind of smart, man. It's kind of like a veteran savvy type shit, right, that Joshua pulled off there to try and get some air in the system, right? I felt, honest to God, I mean, when that happened and he got back up, Klitschko was still clipping him, and I honestly felt Joshua was done. I was about to just, like, I had the phone ready to text people, like, holy shit, Klitschko just came back. I can't believe this just happened, But Joshua was able to hold on. He had to eat some big shots to do it, but he was able to hold on. Klitschko he just didn't press on the gas enough, right? And he let it get away from him. I saw the post-fight press conference where Klitschko said, well, I took my time because I felt it was going to be my night. Well, wrong time to take your time, right? I understand that you don't want to blow your load and get all tired the way Joshua did. And you're 41 years old. You don't have the luxury of, running out of steam, but he should have pressed on the gas a little bit more, in my opinion. And also, Klitschko's lack of body work throughout his career, by the way, came back to haunt him in this fight. Because there was times where I felt like, man, he's got to go to the body. He's got to go to the body. Joshua's tired right now. I mean, you got to dig some hooks to the body. But that's never been, even in fights he's dominated, that's not something Klitschko does. So what are you going to do? Right? Or Joshua, on the other hand, would sneak in a couple shots down there, and it played huge dividends towards the end of the fight. The third block of the fight, I felt like Klitschko was taking over. Right? It was a completely different fight to what it was before the knockdowns of rounds 5 and 6. Right? I felt like Klitschko took over. He would land an occasional right hand, some clean right hands, by the way. I mean, it looked like Joshua was just trying to get his back on his feet, man, or stay steady. He looked tired. He looked, like he had half the energy he had in the first half of the fight. And while it would be close at times, I felt like Klitschko was taking over, and I felt like, okay, maybe this is just going to be the rest of the fight. And then around round 10, Joshua really started to turn things around and, started landing some big shots. All of a sudden, his shots started having some snap again. So that made Klitschko very uncomfortable. In round 11, there was a right uppercut that Joshua landed, and it was with his lead hand, right? This uppercut, right, was beautiful, right? I mean, it has to be one of the most beautifully thrown and landed uppercuts I've seen in the heavyweight division since Lennox Lewis, right? All right. I mean, this was just beautifully thrown. We're not used to seeing heavyweights throw uppercuts like that. And we see it a lot in the lower divisions, but to see a heavyweight do that, I knew Klitschko was done when that uppercut landed. I knew it. It was just a matter of time. I mean, he didn't know where he was. Joshua was putting punches together. Klitschko was not defending himself intelligently. To be honest, the first time he was knocked down, I don't think Klitschko knew where the hell he was. What the ref is supposed to be looking at their eyes, by the way, and call the fighter. The fighter's supposed to look at the ref, walk towards the ref, give the ref the gloves so the ref could wipe the gloves on his shirt. And the reason they do that is, so they could wipe off any, dirt or whatever that's on the canvas, or anything that may be on the canvas, because you don't want that to hit the fighter in the face. But nonetheless, that's the whole point, right? I mean, the ref didn't really do that. It looked like Klitschko was fucking lost. Now, I could be wrong about the first one, but the second knockdown for sure, Klitschko was not all there. He just wasn't. Right? And the ref allowed the fight to continue, and then Klitschko was just against the ropes, getting hammered, and I'm shocked to find out that there's people saying, oh, I didn't agree with the stoppage. What? Well, did you want the guy dead or what? You guys must not really like Klitschko. You must really want him dead. What do you mean it wasn't a good stoppage? That wasn't a good stoppage. Just because your hands are up doesn't mean you're defending yourself. That just means your hands are up. Yeah, but hands up means defense. Oh, really? He didn't know where the fuck he was. He was just holding his hands up. And at times he wasn't holding his hands up. And Joshua wasn't stopping, and the punches were still landing. And let me tell you something. Klitschko was not protesting, all right, when they stopped that fight. Because I don't think he knew where the hell he was. Right? Now, look, he got back up. He showed heart. Right? And he showed a lot of heart, Klitschko, getting back up, wanting to keep going. But it's not his job whether or not the fight should be stopped. That's the ref's job. It was a good stoppage. And to be honest with you, if the ref did it correctly, he could have stopped the fight even before that, right? But if people were complaining about the stoppage then, I mean, just imagine if he would have stopped it, when he's supposed to walk towards them. But that's what he's supposed to do, right? All right. So anyway, I honestly don't think Klitschko knew where he was until a couple minutes later. And that's it. So anyway, good fight, man. Let me say this in all honesty, and I really mean this. That fight has to be one of the best heavyweight fights I've ever seen live. All right? That was an unbelievable fight. And we're talking, I mean, it's just different when it's the heavyweights. I mean, like when I saw Joshua land that uppercut on Klitschko, when people see that, when like your average Joe sees that, they think to themselves, that punch would fucking kill me. I'd be dead if he hit me with that. You see, no other division really does that. Like we could see a lightweight fight, and a guy lands a very good uppercut, and yeah, they may say, wow, that was a nice shot, but nobody really thinks like, oh yeah, that would kill me, right? Or that would knock me the fuck out. Like no, like 200-pound dude's gonna think that. Whether it's true or not is irrelevant. But when it's a heavyweight fight, and not only that, the way you hear the shots, I mean, the thunder in the shots, right? Like when Klitschko hit Joshua with that right hand, right? Midway through the fight, what was it, round 6? And Joshua went down. I mean, the thunderous sound in that right hand, and to see a human being take that and get back up, I mean, that's heavyweight boxing, right? The same with Klitschko. I mean, even in the 11, when he got hit with that uppercut, yeah, I mean, yeah, the fight was over then. He didn't know where the hell it was. But for him to still be on his feet, all right, and still take a couple more shots before he went back down is unbelievable, right? So this is the how, to me anyway, heavyweight boxing, that's what makes it unique to other divisions, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you the heavyweight division is my favorite division because it's not. But I got to call a spade a spade. I mean, that's what makes it different, right? And what also makes the heavyweight division different than any other division is the heavyweight champion, looks down on everybody, right? So the heavyweight champion is, I mean, everybody always talks about, why do you talk pound for pound? Pound for pound is myth, and pound for pound is this. Well, fair enough. But the heavyweight champion of the world is the best fighter in the world. Meaning, nobody could fuck with him in that sport, right? That's what it means. It means all you other motherfuckers have your own divisions down there because you can't fuck with us up here, right? In the land of the dinosaurs, where we don't have weight limits and catch weights, and you just come in at your best and fight, regardless of weight. That's what the heavyweight division is, right? And that's what makes it unique. It was good to see a great heavyweight fight, right? It really was. It was good to see it, and even the first like four or five rounds, or before the knockdowns, those first 4 rounds, I enjoyed them. But I could see why the casual fan may have not really, because it's the heavyweight division. They don't throw as many punches. They don't have high volume. But what they do bring is power to the third degree, man. And this was dynamite, this fight. I mean, there was some punches that they landed. You could hear the huge pop, and the other dude's knees didn't even buckle. That's amazing. So Anthony Joshua wins this fight, and just a couple quotes here from the post-fight press conference. I didn't really watch the Joshua one because I could kind of, when the guy wins, you kind of already know, right? I mean, it's obvious. But I was watching Klitschko's post-fight press conference. A reporter asked him, hey, you felt you had a night off when you fought, or not a night off, I'm sorry, an off night when you fought Tyson Fury. Did you have an off night tonight? Klitschko said no. Klitschko said, I felt great tonight. Klitschko, and we saw it. I mean, this Klitschko was not gun shy like in the Tyson Fury fight. He just fought a better fight. He came a lot more prepared in this fight. This is the best I've seen Klitschko in years, right? This version of Klitschko, I think Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, maybe Deontay Wilder, and Ruiz Ortiz, maybe. There's 4 fuckers in the entire planet that could beat him, right? That's it. And he's 41 years old. He's a top 5 heavyweight right now. But with that said, what do I think he should do? I think he should retire, right? I think that's my opinion. I think Klitschko should just look, man. You have 2 straight losses, right? Call it a day, man. Just call it a day. Move along, right? It's a fresh division, right? There's a country song by Garth Brooks called what's the song called? I'm too damn young to feel this damn old, or something like that. And there's a line in that song that says, the competition's getting younger. And it is, right? I mean, it's getting younger. These are fresh lions, and you're only getting older. So what are you going to do, right? And why do you want to go from being the dominant heavyweight for 10 years to a top 5 heavyweight? What's the point in that? It's like, it's like being a starter in the NBA, and then all of a sudden you're like coming off the bench. It's like you're still in the NBA, you're still a good player, but you're not what you used to be. You're coming off the bench, dude, right? That's how I feel Klitschko is right now. Call it a day, man. Let's call it a day. Move along. Joshua's a big puncher. You took some big shots, all right? it's time to call it a day, call it a career, right? And that's my thoughts, man. All right, I think I saw some people out there saying that Vitaly should come back. Do you guys have any idea how old Vitaly Klitschko is? Right? You have any idea? All right. Did anybody see Vitaly the post fight? He was just like whatever, man. He didn't give a shit. Like he wasn't looking for any revenge. He was just like, all right, well, so what do we do now? Right? Um, I do not think that Klitschko should exercise his rematch clause. I just don't. This is actually a good way to go out. I know it's hard to believe because he lost by knockout, but let me tell you something, man. If there's a way to, other than winning, right? Other than the obvious, if there's any other way to go out and where you could go out in style, it's this fight, right? Because I honestly I think Josh is going to have an amazing career. You know, I think we're going to see Anthony Joshua for the next 10 years easy, and he's going to beat some other dudes, right? And probably beat them easier than this. So this is the way to go out, right? Two reasons. Number one, it was an epic fight, right? It's one of the best heavyweight fights ever, right? This fight was amazing. Right? It was a fun fight to watch, and a lot of people are saying it was great for a heavyweight fight. No. This was a great fight, period, right? And number two, I think in a way, Klitschko redeemed himself. You know, as some may find that strange, but I honestly believe that. I think he redeemed himself with a lot of fans. Okay, do you know how many people I saw, right, on social media say, man, Klitschko really showed a lot of heart. Klitschko, you know, no matter what, I mean, my respects to Klitschko and this, that, and the third. I mean, this, because there's just been a lot of people that just didn't like his style, didn't like his fights, you know, felt like he was boring and not entertaining, and I get it, right? But this here, I mean, this is a hell of a way to go out. You know, it's a hell of a way to go out, man. You go out like he went out on his shield, right? That's how he went out. He went out like a warrior, and so I think that's why. And not, I mean, he went out. It was Wembley Stadium, 90,000 people. Um, when they say your name in the post-fight press conference, the crowd cheers for you. I mean, I think he should just go out that way, right? It's a good way to go out, right? It just is. Like, why continue fighting? You know, what does somebody else beat you? You know, and then it's I don't know, but we'll see. With that said, I think there's a very good chance Klitschko will retire. Klitschko is not known to be a big partier guy or anything like that, and I believe he's already married, and I believe has a kid. Does he have a kid with that girl? I don't know. But I mean, he could do a lot of things, man. He speaks German. You can call fights over there in Germany. I mean, he could just do a lot of stuff, right? He doesn't have to continue fighting. Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder is going to be the fight to see. That fight is going to be the fight to see. I mean, that's going to be a great fight. All right. I can't wait for that fight. All right. Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury could be a big event. That will be a big event in the UK. Right? The trash talking will be off the hook, but have you guys seen pictures of Tyson Fury? Tyson Fury is so out of shape. I mean, it is sad to see, man. I mean, holy shit, that guy. Tyson Fury has a lot of demons. He has a mental health problem, right? And I don't know if being heavyweight champion is healthy for him, right? And he just has a lot of issues. That's why I'm not sure what's going to happen with that fight. I don't know if that fight will ever happen. I don't even think Tyson Fury will ever be the same. I just don't. Right? Maybe this will motivate him to come back because the biggest win he has in his career. That guy just got knocked out by Anthony Joshua, so now that might motivate him, but we'll see. All right, but I think that's what I'm looking at. And by the way, why are people hyping up Pulev? I mean, the hype around this dude is crazy. All right. Oh, Pulev. I saw somebody say Anthony Joshua's scared of Pulev. Are you shitting me? All right. You really believe Anthony Joshua is scared of Pulev? Really? Let me see this shit. Kuprat Pulev. Oh, we beat Kevin Johnson. I mean, you guys can't be serious, right? Let's pull up Pulev's resume. By the way, he got knocked out by freaking Klitschko, man. Like this was in 2014. It wasn't even that long ago, right? He has wins over Chisora, Samuel Peter, Kevin Johnson, and people are just pumping the dude up. I mean, look, I'm not saying Pulev is a bad fighter, okay, but he's not at that level. Like it's nothing to like. Oh my God, I think Anthony Joshua dispatches of him no problem, right? I think it's a relatively easy fight to call, right? Oh, Anthony Joshua is to do everything to duck the guy that Klitschko knocked out. Like, right. Okay. Anyway, um, that's a wrap. Okay. I'm out of here.